So yesterday we have started the new module, right? Smart infrastructure and user experience. So in that we have three parts in the chapter. And the first portion is the sensor, so that we have started. Right? So in the started we have uh, seen the introduction about the sensor, what is sensor, how it will work, right? So uh, like we know today is the time of automation, and when you talk about automation, definitely you need to have the sensor in your system, right? So in the market, like sensors you will find everywhere, right? So they are like our sensing system. If you compare it with the human body, right? So you can compare like each part of your body which can able to sense something, right? So similar to that we have the electronics devices, right? They will perform the similar task. So sensor, you can give the definition of sensor with many different way, right? But the main point or main thing you have to include, that is the sensor or electronics device. The first one is a kind of electronics device, or it's a kind of a device, right? uh, what they will do, so they have capability or they use to sense or detect some physical quantity, some physical parameter, right? And this physical parameter, they may be from the environment around the sensor, or it may be the parameter of some system, some device, other device, right, on which you place the sensor. So you have include this term like it sense or detect uh, the physical quantity, right? And such physical quantities are like force, pressure, strain, light, right? Temperature, etc. Then we can also say like the sensor will whatever the change happen around them, right? The sensor will sense that. So whatever the change in the environment, right? The sensor will detect that or sense that. And once the sensor will sense the change, right? What it will do, right? It will give the response. It will give a signal. It will generate a signal that is in the form of the electrical signal, right? So you have to include this term. It will sense or detect physical quantity, the change in the environment. This physical quantity is maybe of environment, it may be of some system, right? And at the output they will generate some signal. Most of them it is in the form of uh, electrical form, right? So that way we have given the definition of sensor, right? Then we have seen like in sensor you can include like in sensor it has a signal conditioning unit, right? So that is like the additional part in the sensor. They are generally used for do some processing on. So most of the sensor have that kind of unit, that kind of facility. Because whatever you are sensor you are using in that, whatever principle you are using, whatever the mechanism you are using, right? So the change like it is not understood by human, right? So we'll put some additional system, additional device, right? Additional component which will convert whatever the output of sensor in some you can represent in the some better way, right? So for that you have this conditioning unit. Some of the sensor also may have like uh, A to D, right? Analog to digital convert. If you need the output in the form of digital data, then your device may use. Sometimes your device also use the additional software, right? Which you can like it's you have the application like to measure something, to monitor something, or to collect the data. You want to see the data in the form of the digit, right? So at that time we'll use this kind of system along with the sensor. Then we have seen like some of the picture of sensor, right? And like you can see the sensor, like if you want to make a block diagram kind of thing, then you can have the three block, right? One which is the physical quantity, second is the sensor itself, and the third one is the output, that is electrical signal, right? So physical quantity sensor will measure or sense, right? And the function of sensor is it will convert that physical quantity, right, by some mechanism into electrical signal. And most of the time the output is in the form of electrical signal, right? And the electrical signal means nothing volt and current. Then how sensor will work? So different sensor will work different way, right? But the main fundamental thing inside the sensor is like uh, you have the mechanism, you have the arrangement inside the sensor, like whenever some change will happen around the sensor, around or in the in atmosphere, right, around the sensor, physical conditions or physical parameter is changing. Be depends on that some of the electrical parameter of the sensor will also change. So ultimately you can select it's electronic system. uh, So we'll see in the further lecture like in types of sensor or classification of sensor, like we have some resistive sensors, some inductive sensors. So in that generally we are using like resistor capacitor. So whenever some change will happen around it, it will change the value of capacitor, value of resistor. So we are just measuring that value, and based on that we will do the mapping, like if this value then the temperature will this, if this value then the distance will this. So that way the sensor will work, right? So ultimately we can say like the sensor will convert the stimuli or the physical parameter which is around like heat, light, sound, temperature, motion, distance, right, in the electrical signal, right? And the signal they will send in the form of like analog or binary code or digital form to some processor or computer for processing purpose, right? That we have seen. Then we can also say like the sensor is consist of three main components, right? One is the sensing section, the second one is the processing circuitry, right? And the third one is the output, right? Uh, so we can say like each sensor will work have the different working principle, and that is depends on which physical parameter it need to, on like how physically they are constructed, right? Uh, the common thing we can say like among all the sensors, right, is they all convert the physical parameter into electrical signal, right? In the simple definition we can say like that. And uh, the sensor have a specific transfer function or a specific communication, right? So these are like some communication, it's kind of protocol, right, or kind of technology, SPI, UART, right? So using which like it will provide the output, right? So if you want to use the sensor with some computer, with some processor, with some microcontroller, right? So you have to also keep in the mind like the sensor is able to provide which kind of communication, right? So it's kind of like the sensor have some wire uh, to send the electrical signal or whatever the output they are generating, right? They need to transfer that output to some other device, for processing purpose, to make the decision or to work as a switch, right? So how they will send that output electrical signal, right? So there are different way, and whenever you will see the data sheet of the sensor, right? So in real life, whenever you want to create a system, automatic system, so first you will to decide like which physical parameter you need to measure, and depends on that you will do the some action. So based on that physical parameter, you will choose the sensor type of the sensor. So when you choose a sensor, first will you go through the data sheet of the sensor. So data sheet is nothing but we can say like Janam Kundli of sensor, right? So if you see the data sheet, in that they will give its the dimension, physical dimension, all the top view, bottom view, side view, how it's looked. They will also explain you like what principle is working for that. Uh, some parameter like the sensor can able to work in this condition, environment condition, like in this temperature range, in some pressure range. Sensor, some most of the sensor need the power, then they will also mention like in which range the sensor will work, like it will work between some 3.3 volt to 5 volt. If you give the below 3.3 volt, then it will not generate the proper output. If you provide more than 5 volt, then there is a chance like your sensor will damage, right? So they will provide that voltage range, operating range, right? Also they will mention the current, like whenever you applying the power supply, then your current will not go beyond this value, right? Or it should not be below this value. Same way, whatever the output generated by the sensor in the datasheet, they will mention like it will generate maximum this voltage, maximum this current. So based on that, you can map the parameter, right? So that kind of different parameter also it will mention the datasheet, like whatever error your sensor can generate, some accuracy of your sensor, resolution of your sensor, right? So all those parameter they will mention in the datasheet. So once whenever you want to use some sensor, first you have to go through the datasheet, right? And that is not only about the sensor, but for any electronics component, right? So whenever you have some project and you want to use some electronics device, some electronics component, right? First you have to go through the datasheet. Okay? Even for a small resistor or small capacitor, right? You have to go through the datasheet, right? And then and only then you should use that device, right, or the component. Otherwise there is a chance like your system will damage, it will waste your time, it will waste your money, right? So that is about sensor. Then one term called transducer. So these terms generally we are extensively used for sensor, right? So we understood like the transducer or sensor are the same thing, but actually they are not same thing. You can say like sensor is a part of transducer, right? So if I want to give the simple definition of transducer, so we can say like the transducer is any device. It may be mechanical device, it may be electrical device, right? Or it may be some other system, right? Which only contains some physical thing, right? So the device, the ability of this device is to convert any energy form, one form of the energy to some other kind of energy, right? So any such kind of device you can say it's a sensor, sorry, transducer. Am I audible? Hello? 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 Am I audible? Anybody can give the feedback? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. So transducer means the thing, the device which will convert any energy, one form of any energy to the some other form. So like all the sensor we know, like sensor will convert the physical parameter to electrical signal, right? So definitely all sensors are transducer, but some of the devices which will do the opposite task of the sensor, like electrical signal they will convert to some other form of energy, right? So for example, if I give the I will take the motor, right? A simple motor. Then motor what will do, you will provide the power supply and it will rotate. So with that, if you attach some wheel, so wheel can rotate. So what you are doing using motor, it will generate, it will convert the electrical energy, electrical signal to a rotation. So that is a mechanical kind of energy, kinetic energy we can say, right? So the motor, it's also a transducer, right? But motor is not a sensor, right? So generally transducer we can categorize, we can divide into two parts. One is the sensor, and the second, which will do the opposite task of the sensor, it's a actuator, right? Actuator means motor, some linear actuator, hydraulic or pneumatic pump, right, in which you will provide the pressure air or pressure oil kind of fluid, right, to create the pressure. So in that also you will controlling it through the electrical signal. So generally all kind of this actuator are the transducer, right? So sensor and transducer are not same. We can say sensor is the part of transducer, right? And generalized transducer, what transducer will do, it will convert one form of the energy to the some another form, right? And sensor will always convert some physical parameter to electrical signal, right? So like we can give the example, we can take the example like microphone. So in microphone we will speak, so it's a sound energy, you can say, or acoustic energy that we will convert to in the electrical signal or electrical energy. So microphone is sensor as well as transducer, right? But we'll take the loudspeaker or speaker. So the speaker will do the opposite task of the microphone. So the speaker will take electrical signal and it will generate the voice, or it will generate the audio or sound. Right? So that is the opposite task of sensor, but you can call it as a transducer. Okay. Uh, right. So this I have already discussed. Right. We can say like transducer is the include both the sensor and actuator, and the sensor and actuator have the opposite kind of task, right? So actuators generally what they will do, they will whatever the signal they have, right, in the form of electric voltage or current, they will perform some mechanical kind of thing, or they will do some kind of switching. Then some sensor pair feature. So some important feature or some important parameter of sensor, right? So like one feature is whatever sensor you are using, that sensor should only sensitive to the measured quantity or measured property, right? So like in some application you are using temperature sensor, then temperature sensor can only sense the temperature of the surrounding. Like if the sense temperature value in your room or in your surrounding is constant, but still your sensor is fluctuating, right? So that kind of thing should not sensor have. Or like some other parameter, like depends on lighting condition, your temperature sensor output value is fluctuating, then we can say like that sensor is not a good sensor, right? So the first feature is like sensor must uh, be sensitive only to the measured quantity or measured property, right? So and it should insensitive to the other properties, right? So like temperature sensor only sense or detect the change in the temperature around the sensor, right? They are not affected by the light or pressure around the sensor, right? Um, so it does not influence the measured property, and this kind of other physical parameter should not influence in the measured property, right? Like sometimes you in your system you have using some sensor or two sensors simultaneously, then that kind of thing should not also happen. Like uh, temperature is changing, so definitely temperature sensor will give the different value, but along with that if you are using a pressure sensor, so pressure sensor also fluctuating, so that kind of thing should not happen, right? Then the second parameter we can say like the resolution. So resolution is nothing but a sensor, whatever sensor you are using, right? So a smallest change that your sensor is able to detect, right? That quantity is known as a resolution. Right? So for example, uh, temperature sensor, then we can take the change of this temperature like 1 degree. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, right? You can also take the change like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, 1.4. So what small change your sensor will detecting, like if you are changing from 1.1 to 1.2, then your sensor value is also changing, it is showing that value, then you can say like it has that resolution. If some of the some of the temperature sensor are available in the market which are able to uh, uh, detect the change of like 0.001, so we can say like those kind of sensor have the better resolution, right? So what small change your sensor can able to detect, that is known as a resolution. Okay, so in the data sheet of the sensor you will also find this resolution of sensor. They will provide like what is the resolution of the sensor, what small change your sensor can detect, right? And that is not about only the temperature sensor. If you are using some uh, for example distance sensor, then they will give like it, that sensor is able to give the change of 1 mm on also, so that has a resolution of 1 mm. Some are able to detect only whenever your change is about 10 mm or zero point 0.1 centimeter. Some are able to give the resolution of uh, like 1 centimeter, right? So different sensor have different resolution, and you should choose the sensor that way, what resolution you need in your application. Okay, because in some like healthcare kind of application, your temperature is, for example, in point 1 Celsius also is important. Then you have to choose the sensor which has that much of resolution, right? If you use the sensor which are only able to sense like 1 to 3 degree, then you can't find the change between 1 and 2 degree, right? 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. The resolution of a sensor with a digital output is usually smallest resolution. The digital output is capable of processing, right? Uh, the more is the resolution of a sensor, the more accurate is its precision. Right? So as much as much as possible, the highest resolution sensor are we have to choose. Depends on our depends on our application. Then this accuracy, like that is true, like as your resolution is more, your accuracy is more, but we can't say like the sensor accuracy is depends on the resolution, right? It's not only depends on the resolution, but if resolution is good, then definitely the precision is good, accuracy is good. Okay, then the type of sensor. So in the market you will find a huge number of sensor, right? So like we can classify this sensor, we can give the category to this sensor, right? So it is not always possible like to include all the sensor in some of the category, but some class, some category, right, which we can identify. So those categories, those class I have listed here. So you'll find like different author, different expert have given the several different ways of classification, right? Among them, some classification are very simple to understand, but some classification they have given based on like a very we can say like some parameter which is inside the sensor, or some small component or small theory, right? Based on they will also classify the signal, right? So some of the simple categories are like some sensor you can call as an active sensor, or some sensor will you call it as a passive sensor, right? And that active and passive sensor, that we will uh, identify, that is based on like the external power is needed to operate the sensor or not. Some of the sensor they do not need external power, but some of the sensor need. So based on that we will classify this active and passive sensor. Similarly, like all the sensor are generating the output, so that output signal output electrical signal, that may be voltage, that may be current. So that signal is in the form of analog or digital. So based on that also we'll give the class like the analog sensors and the digital sensors. Then whatever output, whatever uh, parameter you are measuring, or what for to measure whatever the parameter the sensor you are using. So what type of that data, what type of that parameter, it is a scalar or vector, right? So based on that we can also classify the scalar and vector or multimedia sensor, right? So that is based on the data type of like output of sensor. Then we can also classify the sensor based on the what parameter they are measuring, what physical parameter they are measuring. Like you will have the, or to measure the temperature, to measure the change in the heat, you will use the temperature sensor. So in the market you will see like uh, widely like a long list of the temperature sensor, right? So you can include in the temperature whatever sensor are used to measure the temperature, that you can include in the temperature. Same way some kind of sensor you will use for pressure sensor. So what physical parameter you are measuring, based on that you can give the category of sensor. Then also you can classify the sensor depending on the technology the sensor output a switching signal. So what technology they are using, what kind of uh, technology it's used to generate the output of the signal, right? Uh, Output signal. Based on that, we can also classify. We can also classify the sensor based on the means of detection using the sensor. So it's a kind of like uh, what physical parameter we are measuring, right? Uh, Also, like some sensor are using some fixed uh, principle, right? So like resistor, one electronics component is a resistor. So in some sensor they have resistor. So so resistive type of temperature sensor is there. So once temperature is changing around that sensor, the resistor value of that the component inside the sensor is changing. Same way, like you may have the resistive type of pressure sensor. So whenever some pressure is changing, the value of the resistive is changing. Same way, like to detect the light, whenever the light is changing around the sensor, the resistor value of the sensor is changing. So they will do the map like when this resistor value, then it is like this physical quantity. It may be like in case of temperature sensor, it may be like this degree of temperature. In case of light, then you can call like this is the output resistive value, then your light intensity is this. So like these are the different sensor: temperature sensor, pressure sensor, light sensor. But they all using like the change of resistance to give the output, right? So you can include those category, you can include those sensors in the same category which are of resistive type, right? So uh, like what you are using inside the sensor, based on that also you can classify the sensor. So let's see this all category one by one, right? So this is not the like the end of the list, right? There are other points are also there. Based on that you can categorize the sensor. So the first category, like it's active and passive, right? So what mean by active sensor and what mean by passive sensor? So you can say like active sensor are those which require an external excitation signal or power supply to work and to operate. And the passive sensor are those, right, which do not require any external power supply, right? They can directly generate the response, they will directly generate the output. So passive means you do not need external supply or power supply. Active means you need power supply, okay? So a passive sensor requires an external power source to operate, while the active sensor does not need it, right? So here I have shown example of like it's a thermocouple, which is used to measure the temperature, right? So you can see like in the figure at one end, uh, I have keep the sensor on one candle, right? So because of that candle fire, it will change the temperature, and that temperature you can see like you can measure through the voltmeter in the form of voltage. So when temperature is increased, its value is increased from 0 to some 18 millivolt, right? So uh, like here you can see the sensor is directly generating the output, right? Okay, here the equations are those which require um, okay. So this is the active means the sensor here it is mistaken, right? So active sensor means they uh, does not require the external power. It's need the power supply, right? Uh, Mistaken here. A passive sensor means they uh, need external power to work, and active means they do not need. Right? So this is mistaken, right? Active means you does not need any external power supply, and passive means you need. That's why here in the figure you can see this is the active. So here it does not require any external power, right? Whatever the change in the temperature your sensor is generating, right? So such kind of sensor you can the example of such sensors are the thermocouple, piezoelectric sensor, right? Then if you talk about the passive, so here you can see like the RTD, right? Resistance temperature detector. So it's also kind of a sensor which will use to uh, measure the change in the temperature. So here you can see like this RTD needs external power to operate. So here you can see one block of power supply, right? And you give that power supply to the sensor, and whatever like here also the arrangement of the sensor is same like above the candle the sensor is there, right? So whatever temperature change that we can measure through voltmeter, right? But here external power is connected with the sensor, so that's why it's a basic kind of sensor, right? So this RTD is a basic kind of sensor. Also some other stream gauge, right, which is used to measure the pressure, are this kind of sensor. Then the other category or other class of sensors are like one is the based on the output type of the output signal, that is analog or digital. So one category is analog or digital sensor based on the data type, that is a scalar and vector. Okay, so first we'll see the analog and digital sensor. So analog sensor are the kind of the device kind of the sensor which will produce the output as a analog signal or analog output, right? So analog means what? The continuous output signal, right? So and the continuous means its value can be any real number. So whatever, for example, your sensor is generating output as voltage, then the value of voltage may be any real number. It may be like in the specific range that your sensor is able to generate, that in that range, like maybe it range from 0 to 5 volt, then the output of that sensor may be like 0, 0 0.1, 0 0.12, 0 0.21, 0 0.32, 0 0.35, 2.3, 3.5, 3.51, 3.57, right? So any real number, if your output is like any real number, then you can say like that sensor is an analog sensor. Okay. So usually like voltage, but sometimes also the other quantity is like resistance, right? So that kind of sensor which are using the resistor and giving the as output resistance value. So those kind of sensor are analog sensor, and the digital sensor is like it will generate the discrete or digital output. So discrete or discrete means what? It will give you the value of like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Or in the form of the binary data like 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1. So if that way it will generating the data, then it's a digital data. Okay. So the data in the digital sensor which is used for the conversion transmission is digital nature, right? So whatever the data is generating, that signal is in the form of digital. If you want to transfer that data, you have to transfer that through the in the form of digital, means 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1 like that. So these are the analog and digital type of sensor. So analog sensor produces a continuous output signal that will see voltage which is generally proportional to the quantity being measured. Right? So whatever output voltage is generated by the sensor, they are proportional to the whatever the quantity they are measuring. So it's a kind of mapping. So physical quantities like temperature, speed, pressure, displacement, strain, etc. are all analog quantities. Is they tend to be continuous in the nature, right? So temperature value, the speed value, pressure value, displacement, distance, right? What are the strain, stress and strain, right? So that is also the value are in the continuous, means real. So that's why if you have the sensor to measure this kind of physical quantity, then they are like analog sensor. So for example, temperature of a liquid can be measured using thermocouple thermometer, right? Which continuously responds to the temperature change as the liquid is heated up or cooled down. Right? This analog sensor may also be capacitive or resistive or anything. Right? So generally, resistive change the resistance value or change the capacitance value. In form of that, we are measuring the physical quantity, right? So maybe this capacitive and resistive again a different class, right? But in analog, this capacitive and resistive type of sensor are most of the time you can include in this analog sensor, right? So some sensor you will take, it may be in some different category. A sensor may be analog, sensor may be scalar sensor. That sensor may be you can include in the capacitive type of sensor, right? So this is the category you define. So one sensor can be in more than one category. It is not like if sensor is analog sensor, then it cannot be in other category, right? But like if you only looking for two category, analog and digital, then any sensor you will take, that may be analog, it may be digital, right? A sensor cannot be digital as well as analog, right? Same way, if you're considering like passive and active, so a sensor can be passive, can be active, it can be passive, it can't be active and passive both, right? So in single category, if you take the class, then a sensor can be any of the one class, but if you considering all the categories, all the class, then one sensor, a sensor can be in different category, right? It can be analog as well as it can be passive, right? So digital sensor produces a discrete digital output signal or voltage that are in the form of digital representation, right? So whatever quantity you are measuring, right, you will represent your output signal or output of the sensor will be the represent of that quantity in digital waveform or in the digital form. So digital sensor produce a binary output signal in the form of like logic 1, logic 0. So for example, if you have two state only, as I told, like PIR sensor, which will give you the presence of any person around it, right? And it has a specific range. So if you enter in that range, then and only then it will generate the output, right? So it will give you the two state only, presence or not presence. So that are kind of, it's near the binary signal, right? So it will generate like logic 1 and logic 0. So digital signal only produce the discrete. Discrete means non-continuous, like some 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that, like discrete or like integer value, right? Which may be output as a single bit, right? That is in the form of when you will do the serial transmission, or by combining the bits to produce a single byte output. So at that time we are using the parallel transmission. So digital sensor will generate the output in the form of binary data 10100110 like that, right? So that is a single 0 or 1 you are considering, that is called as a bit. So if the sensor is sending the data in the like stream of this bit 0101 like that, means at a time it will sending 0, at a time it's sending 1. So whatever stream, whatever uh, this 01 value you are generating by your sensor, right, you are sending that bit by bit. So that is called the serial communication, serial transmission. And some sensor have the facility, they are using that signaling unit, right, which will help them like whatever 1010 generating, that they will combine the bits in the form of like 8 bit they will combine. So 8 bit means a byte, and once the byte is created they will transmit that byte at a time. So they will make like a packet of the bits, right? So whenever such kind of thing is happening in the sensor, in digital sensor, right, so you can call like they are doing the parallel transmission or parallel communication. So the output of the sensor is digital data that you can read. Read means by some processor via serial or parallel communication. Right? And for this serial communication parallel, which communication you have to use, that is depends on which type of output or how your sensor output is generated. They are generating output in serial way, they are generating output in the parallel way. Which way they are generating the output, that way you have to choose the communication bus, right? So your microcontroller have the different communication way, like it has UART, it has SPI, it have I2C. So these are the communication protocol. So some of the protocols are able to do the communication serially, some are able to do the communication parallelly, right? So you have to choose the sensor and microcontroller such a way that both have the same type of communication. Otherwise, you can't use the sensor with the microcontroller, right? So that is also you have to keep in the mind. And how you can know like your sensor and your microcontroller which communication they are able to do. So for that you have to refer the data sheet of the sensor and microcontroller, right? In that they will mention this thing. The typical format for the data is demonstrated exactly in the sensors data sheet, as I told. The examples of digital sensor are like uh, accelerometer, right? So this is the ADXL345. So this is like some manufacturing company generating this sensor, and they will give the uh, this number to that sensor, right? So it's a kind of a model number or product number. So in Google you will search the like ADXL345, then you will, whatever the device you will get, that is accelerometer, right? So some other manufacturing company has also manufactured the accelerometer with some different name, right? So this is the name and the category is the accelerometer. So accelerometer generally used to give you the parameter like uh, wherever you place the accelerometer, it will give you the your orientation in the space. Like you consider the accelerometer as the origin, right? Then at one point you are considering origin. Then with respect to x, y, and z axis, what angle you are making, right? So that value is given by accelerometer or accelerometer sensor. So actual name is accelerometer only, but it's kind of a sensor. So here it's written accelerometer sensor. Right. So accelerometer will give you the x, y, and z parameter. So like the application wherever you want to find the position in the space of some device. Then what you will do, you will place the accelerometer on that device, and you will continuously measuring the what value they are doing, right? So sometimes disalignment will happen, right? So you can uh, modify it, right? So in such application you can use the accelerometer. So this accelerometer generally generating the output signal which is have the digital form, right? So you can include the accelerometer in the digital sensor, and this accelerometer, whatever output they are generating, that data you can send through a communication bus or communication protocol, that is I2C, right? And this I2C needs two wire for communication. Sometimes if for communication they are using more than two wire, right? It's based on which bus you are using. Okay, then second category is a scalar sensor and the vector sensor. So scalar sensor, right? You know, basic maths or in physics you already studied the scalar vector and scalar and vector quantity, right? Any quantity you can call it as a scalar or you can call it as a vector, right? So scalar means what? Some parameter have only the value, and some parameter, like along with the value you have to provide its direction, right? Then and only then it will be the meaningful, right? So the parameter which for which you are only need the magnitude, the value of that quantity, then you can include that parameter in the scalar, right? And some quantity, right? Some quantity which uh, like have the its meaning is only meaningful, its value is only meaningful when you will give the direction, right? So for example, some parameters like velocity, acceleration, right? At that time you have to give the in which direction. If you are talking about velocity, you are talking about speed, then it will which direction. Similarly, like some quantity like the weight, so weight of anything you do not need to give the direction, right? In any direction the weight will be same, but speed, like you have to give in which direction. So those are the vector quantity, right? So whatever the output or whatever the physical quantity you are measuring, right? So based on that parameter, that quantity is scalar or vector, right? Based on that you can categorize the sensor like scalar sensor and vector sensor, right? So the scalar sensor produces the output signal or voltage which is generally proportional to the magnitude of the quantity being measured, right? So output signal, it's only proportional to the magnitude of the measured quantity or measured parameter, right? Then you can include those kind of sensor in the scalar category. The physical quantities such as the temperature, color, pressure, strain, etc. are all scalar quantity, right? And only their magnitude is sufficient to convey the information. So whenever you have a sensor to measure this kind of physical parameter which are scalar quantity, then those you can include in the scalar sensor, right? So the temperature sensor is a scalar sensor as well as temperature sensor is analog sensor. Uh, so for example, temperatures of a room can be measured using a thermometer or thermocouple which respond to the temperature change with respect to of the orientation of the sensor or its direction. Like whenever you are sensing the temperature in a room, then you do not need to specify the in which direction, right? Because everywhere temperature will remain same. Similar way, vector sensors are the sensors which produce the output signal or voltage, which is generally proportional to magnitude of the measured quantity as well as the direction, or we can say as well as the orientation of the quantity being measured, right? So such physical quantities are like sound, image, velocity, acceleration, right? The position. So all are these physical quantity which are vector quantity. So whenever you will use some sensor to sense this kind of parameter, then you have to include those sensor in the vector sensor category, right? So all these parameters not only they need the magnitude, right? You have to give the orientation, direction, right? Then only then like you can convey the complete information. Okay? So for example, the acceleration of a body can be measured using an accelerometer, which gives the component of acceleration of the body with respect to the XYZ coordinate axis, right? So such kind of sensor, right, which will give you the parameter, and you need to add the orientation or the direction of that parameter, right? Then you can include those sensor in a vector sensor category. uh, Other category, as I told, like uh, what like technology you are using inside the sensor, right? So the various sensor technology helps you to the detaining the or measure the object, right? Depends on the technology sensor output, a switching signal or a measured value, right? Depends on that we will give the different class like resistive sensor, inductive sensor, capacitive sensor, photoelectric sensor, ultrasonic sensor, magnetic field sensor, magnetostrictive sensor, right? So resistive sensor, like the sensor in which you have a resistor inside the sensor. So whenever whatever the physical quantity you are measuring, that quantity is changing, the value of the resistor inside the sensor is changing. And you will do the mapping, you will like have the facility like whatever the resistor value is changing, proportional to that your parameter value is changing, right? So you will do the mapping, and that you will measuring the resistance, and by that you will measuring the physical parameter. Some sensors are of kind of inductive sensors. So inductive sensors generate an electromagnetic field, and this electromagnetic field will generate the AD current in the object, right? And the object generally made of metal, right? So this inductive kind of sensor generally used in the application where metal object comes in the picture, right? Inductive sensor you can't use in to detect the object which don't have the metal, right? So uh, generally these inductive kind of sensors are distance sensor. Some distance sensor are of the inductive kind of sensor, but those sensors are used like whenever your object is metal. So generally in the machinery, inductive sensor are used, because in machinery generally we are making the parts of metal only, right? So in these, like whatever the basic principle, basic theory work inside the sensor, that is like electromagnetic field generation. That field will generate the AD current, and this AD current changes we are measuring, right? So it's kind of like inductance. Based on the inductance, the sensor will give the output. Same way, the capacitive sensor. So this capacitive sensor generate a capacitive field, electric field only, right? And whatever the object, right, entering in this field, right, they will do some changing, and according to the change, we will measure the value of the parameter, right? So such sensors are capacitive sensors, right? So generally they are like electric field, and that changes in the electric field means you are measuring the value of capacitive kind of. So that's why it's a capacitive sensor. Then the photoelectric sensor also, it's called a light sensor, right? So it's always consists of an emitter and a receiver. So they are diffuse, retro, reflective, and a beam types on also, right? So in photoelectric sensor, what happened? You have two things. One is emitter and one is receiver. So emitter is sending the signal. That signal is reflected back, and receiver will receive it. So based on that, you can measure like it's the presence of some object, or you can also measure the distance, right? The ultrasonic sensor. So in ultrasonic sensor, like they will send the sound pulse, right? uh, which is in the inaudible range. So that whatever sound they are generating, sound pulse they are generating, like you can't hear it. So it is in the inaudible range. So that is depends on frequency, or which kind of frequency, which frequency you are using. Whatever the our voice, right? The audio have the frequency in the range of some 20 kilohertz. So if below that the value is there, then you are unable to hear it, right? So the once they will send these sound pulses again from wherever the object is there, it will strike to that object and they will reflect back. So it is generating like echo. So whatever echo is coming from the object, they are measuring that echo, and from that they will give you the distance. So ultrasonic kind of sensor that I have shown you in the first lecture, right? It look like a two eye. So they are used to measure the distance. So that are of ultrasonic. Right? So here they are using the sound pulses, right? And reflection and receive through the reflection whatever signal they are receiving, that travel time they will measure, and based on that they will give you the distance. Then the magnetic field sensor. So some of the sensor will use the magnetic field to measure the parameter. Right? So they will detect an external magnet, and the field strength generated by the magnet is processed. Right? So magnet field they are using to measure the quantity. Some are of magnetostatic sensor. So they will detect the position of external magnet using the propagation time measurement. Right? So these are the different category of the sensor. How you are measuring the parameter. Uh, so we'll stop here. From next lecture we'll start from like the next category, like which parameter you are measuring. Based on that also you will categorize, like some sensor are of light sensor, in that you have light dependent resistor, photodiode, right? So which may, uh, parameter you are measuring, based on that also you can classify. So that we'll see in the next lecture. Any question? Anybody have any question? Okay, so